Hey, business building warrior. Hope you're having a great weekend. If you're listening to this right when it comes out, it's on a Saturday. This is our weekend update. A weekend update, if you're new around here, just means we've gone back in time, maybe a few days, a few weeks, or a few months, and we've grabbed some inspirational, informational, helpful tips and strategies from recently popular episodes where we've typically interviewed a guest who's a success story from our community, and we put them on the stage and we talk to them about what's working, what isn't, what challenges they're facing, what strategies can they share with us, excuse me, about their business. So let's dive into this weekend update in just a moment, and you're going to hear the clips that we've compiled for you today. But before we do that, a couple things about this show. First, if you're brand new around here, you should know the vast majority of our episodes are, as I just described, interviews with successful students from our community. We've got a free Facebook group. As I'm recording this, over 72,000 people from around the world using the strategies we teach to build beautiful businesses online. Jump in there if you're not a member yet. silentjimdotcom has the link. The other thing that all of these people have in common that you've heard on the hundreds of episodes of this show are the fact that they're using the proven Amazon course strategies to grow their business. Now, inside the proven Amazon course, you will find dozens of helpful modules that can meet you where you are and take you to the next level. So we have students who have 10,000 or 20 or $50,000 or more businesses who study the content in the proven Amazon course. And we have brand new people who've never sold anything online and they're not even sure if this is a business that's right for them or not. We've got modules for everyone. The course grows with you. So that's the other thing that all of our guests on this show have in common is they are successful students of those strategies. So we're very proud of the fact that we've compiled hundreds of interviews with those students. If you want to see even more success stories, jump into our free Facebook group, like I mentioned, at silentjim.com. There's a link to the course. There's a link to our coaching, all that good stuff. Something else I want to put on your radar before we jump into the content for this weekend episode is the fact that July 6th through 8th of 2023, you want to circle that on your calendar and plan to join us in Columbus, Ohio, as hundreds of listeners to this show gather along with nearly all of our coaching team. And we have about 60 coaches. Hundreds of listeners to this podcast are successful coaching students, proven Amazon course students, all the sponsors who can't wait to be a part of the excitement. We're all going to go to Columbus, Ohio, July 6th through 8th for our 11th annual get together with over 40 breakout sessions for content for absolutely every stage of Amazon experience or e-commerce experience. If you're brand new, just checking it out, you're going to love this event. If you've got a $100,000 a month business and you're looking to expand, you're going to love this event. You need to be there. It's great networking. You're going to have a blast. If you've listened to a handful of episodes recently, you've heard us talking about it. If you have questions, get over to theprovenconference.com. Odds are we answer all your questions there. Again, the website. Remember these three words for our July 6th through 8th event. These three words, The Proven Conference. Go check it out. Hey, let's get into the weekend update. Can't wait to show you what we've got for you today. And it was a very notable conversation. I do remember absolutely meeting you. I know we've chatted since then, but tell me your version of it, because I've had similar conversations over the years.
Yeah, as I recall, your comment was take advantage, as you said, take advantage of the free stuff. I don't want to sell you on anything, but if you come to a point that you really believe it works, we'd love to have you as part of the team. I'm a slow learner, Jim. It took me about 12 months to figure out this is legit. That's truly been a life-saving change in our lives. We signed up for the lifetime membership. It has changed the trajectory of her business.
Absolutely.
Tell them where you are now.
So, believe it or not, we started out a very small. I worked out of my hall closet with our first purchase was we were dying $300, and it started growing, and we started getting help from Jim. And the beginning, I got to just say, we were just on pins and needles. Can we do this or can't we? Yes, maybe so. Well, I was able to scale it up. I mean, it went from just a few $100s a week to, well, we're talking about 10 years. Now, after, it wasn't easy. After making some changes here and there, we're now a seven-figure company.
That's incredible.
A strong seven-figure business.
And it's all fashion jewelry and accessories. And we've tried things, we've changed things, we've moved things around. But in the end, my goal was to find exquisite, beautiful, unique design jewelry for that is affordable for the middle America. I wanted women to have more choices than what they could find at the local stores. And I feel like I really filled that niche. But then something else occurred in the middle of my journey. I was walking the dog. Quickly, I'll tell you, I was walking the dog one morning, and lo and behold, a car from behind came up and hit me and ran me down. I didn't run me over, but it hit me so terribly that I had a traumatic brain injury.
And how long ago was this at this point, Rosemary?
Actually, it's 5 years ago this month.
We're at the 5-year anniversary of that.
Yes. And it was a long, long journey for me. And I know I was able to come through it because of my faith and my family. If it wasn't for that, I don't know where I'd be right now.
That's for you, surviving and coming back, and you've done great. But I would say the business was able to continue.
Mm-hmm.
And a great part of that, Jim, was the learnings we had from your organization. We've worked with several people, as you know, within the organization. And so that has enabled this business to stay alive, because at that point in time, this was her full-time income. She quit her other jobs for this business. And this, you never know when a traumatic incident like that's going to happen. You pray that it never does happen. But if it does, this business enables you to go forward and move on. And she didn't lose income that year.
In fact, I was amazed because I didn't have the pressure of worrying what was going to happen, because I knew everyone would come out and do their part, and they did. This actually is a family organization. I hired on my daughter-in-law as my partner. My son is in charge of all the shipping. And then we have 3 employees. And even my little granddaughter, 8 years old, comes down and does her share. And everybody pulled together. And it was remarkable. And we continue to grow.
That's beautiful. So many great stories we could go into. You guys have surmised 5 years into a couple minutes here.
I got to say, one thing that came from this accident, I realized how much my faith helped me and helped me with my perseverance to carry on. So on top of the fashion jewelry, I also carry religious jewelry and inspirational jewelry, because no matter what women are going through, it doesn't matter. Sometimes the strength you get from being able to wear something religious is amazing. It gives you strength. And
something spiritually significant. And I know some guys appreciate those kind of, I'm not a jewelry guy. I know guys that are. I've got kids that appreciate it more than I do, sons. A nice necklace or a ring or something, but not so much me. But I do know how much it means to my wife. She can go through this, stuff that her grandma passed her, and like every ring has a significant emotional or spiritual or emotional or moment in time or significance to her spiritually, that I know it's significant because I live with someone who sees the world the same way. So thank you for that. And it sounds like you've turned it into a ministry. And I absolutely want to make sure that we let people know how they can check out what you guys have to offer. I don't know if you've got a website, if you're primarily Amazon. Well, I imagine we'll dive into that, but absolutely, let's leverage this opportunity for folks to check out what you guys have for sure. We don't want to get away from that.
Great.
I feel like now we're off to the races, quite honestly, Jim. We do follow a lot of your suggestions, and your Facebook group is also very informative for us too. And unbelievably, our 4th quarter is coming up so quickly, and we feel it's going to be good. I can even mention COVID was very good for us, because I think more people started using Amazon than ever before. We were quite surprised.
Yeah. So what percentage of your business is on Amazon?
What would you
95%.
say?
Oh, wow. You're all in.
Yeah,
I was going to guess you had some Etsy going on, some eBay going on. It's like, no.
They have a website. So she mentioned the 2 stores. Rosemary Collections is her general jewelry line. Then she's got Rosemary's religious gifts, and that's a separate store on Amazon, but they're fully aware, all those disclosure things.
Right.
And that's got a separate website. And both of those, I would guess, roughly 95% Amazon.
That's fantastic. So you guys are
Amazon's,
taking orders on your website and fulfilling through Amazon?
yes, it's interesting. I was going to just mention Amazon fulfills it for us. So we ship everything to Amazon, and they indeed will send everything to both our website and to the Amazon customer. I think creativity is part of the joy of Amazon because it allows you to try different venues and try different things and be creative in your work. For me, I think Amazon is number one on that for sure.
That's fantastic. Well, you mentioned you're not on any other platforms. I'm a little curious, and I would almost push back as to why is that? 95% of your stuff's on Amazon? Are you doing anything with Pinterest, for example, or
I'm sorry. We advertise on Pinterest, and honestly, Pinterest is our number one venue for sales on our website.
That's where it drives traffic.
Yes.
For your non-Amazon crowd.
Right. It's Pinterest.
Okay, good. Because I was going to twist your arm a little bit if you weren't on there. I would think that would be a hot market.
That is amazing. And it's my go-to. Actually, I have 3 different accounts on Pinterest because I'm just crazy over Pinterest. And we're on Facebook, and we have just started on YouTube, trying a few things.
Fantastic. And there's
Instagram. I'm sorry, Instagram.
Oh, of course. Right. I mean, it's a little bit of why not? It doesn't cost you anything except a little bit of time. You can cross-purpose the same content and repurpose it across multiple platforms, spread it around. I would think it would start to really pay off. That's beautiful. Pretend it's your show. Where do we go?
Yeah. One thing, Jim, that to me is really impressive, and this is about you, so don't turn red. We've got 3 kids, and everyone in our family right now, all 3 kids and their spouses and the 2 of us are on Amazon and are using basically the knowledge you've given us, because the kids come to us and say, well, what should I do for this? Well, our background is, here's what Jim says. But yeah, it's kind of unique. 10 years ago, I never would have thought. I envisioned my kids in a traditional, 9-to-5er, et cetera, et cetera. All of them now, I'm trying to think.
In different areas.
Yeah.
And the books.
2 of our son-in-laws have full-time jobs, but other than that, both our kids and their spouses are all working Amazon. And even the ones that have regular jobs, as you well know, they're working, one of them's working replens. Like it's going out of style.
It's amazing, truly.
That's fantastic.
And it's life-changing.
I need to get them on the show too, share their stories at some point.
Yeah, most of them are here. They're all over the country. And what they're doing is very different. So it's kind of, my passion is, we've got a daughter in Florida who's got a newborn, and she's passionate about creating creative activities for this child to learn in. So she started a diary on it and said, oh, I should develop a diary for other moms. So she's, and now she's selling that on Amazon.
We got training on that. The low content books, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they're doing very different things. We all are. As I think I just started it hadn't been a month yet, a nutrition business on Amazon, working with Nathan Bailey, and really proud to say our first 30 days, we've got, I'm guessing we're averaging a sale a day. And
that's fantastic.
Our rankings keep moving. Well, on Amazon Talk, our rankings keep moving down and down. That's a good thing.
Yes.
We started out 400,000 or something selling in this category, and we're now down below 200,000. So, Nathan's got us on a definite track to be very successful. So we're just very thankful for you and your entire group, because it really has changed our family dynamic in a very good way.
Well, I appreciate it, and I do receive that on behalf of a large group of people, most of whom are significantly smarter than I am. But I've been doing it for a while, and I've learned enough to know that you'll do a lot better in life if you surround yourself with really good people who are really smart and achieving things. And that's what this group is. It's people with a teacher's heart. They love sharing what they know. And I can see you guys on that same trajectory. As I'm sitting here talking to you guys, if we're playing chess, I'm 5 moves ahead. I'm already seeing like, okay, these guys are going to be great coaches someday when life allows, things settle. Maybe they sell their brand for millions and they're wondering what to do with their time. Hey, you guys are going to be leaders on the team at some point. You do that kind of thing for 20 years, you end up with a pretty special group. So on behalf of the group, I receive those compliments and that gratitude. Thank you for sharing your story. These kind of conversations with our community do so much to spread the word too, and kind of attract in the right kind of people that we do want to appeal to.
That's a good point. You're right. I believe so. Yeah.
So that's why I pushed so hard, and I probably twisted you guys' arm a little bit. Like, I got to get you on the podcast. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know, our story's not that interesting, or I've heard other people talk about the things we have to share. But just the sheer volume of people who are doing it, I can't even wrap my head around it anymore. You mentioned, you're working with Nathan, Rick, to build your brand. I didn't know. We've got so many clients plugged in, working with so many people in our organization. I can't keep track of all of it. Can't possibly hope to.
Right.
But just, seeing the names come across my desk once a week, you kind of lose track after a while.
Right.
But I'm thrilled for your brand.
He has really been a help because, like I said, Amazon, I helped her set up the original Rosemary Collection store way back in the day, but it's a different animal today, and it's much more sophisticated. The point of the keywords and all those kinds of things.
Yep.
It's just, Nathan's helped me relearn Amazon. So it's great experience.
Well, and, from my vantage point, I can see this trajectory again of, I see a brand and I see the momentum and the numbers are climbing. It's going to make sense at some point. Like someone else in our community who had no clue just a few short years ago, built a brand that's worth tens of millions. He now sits on the board with a handful of other people that run the company, and he sold his share to the board, basically made a ton of money, and he just kind of gets to keep an eye on things as he wants to. He'll get to percent, right? Like that's what these things can turn into over time. That's the trajectory of, this brand that you've built. Who's going to hold that brand 40 years from now? How much time do we spend? Like, who's going to keep that going when it's not us anymore? It's fun to kind of see that life cycle of these things that are happening in the group and to be a part of it. So you guys are on a pretty exciting trajectory.
Well, thank you. We were complimented that you asked us to speak, and we enjoyed our time with you very much.
Anything else on your mind before we start to wrap this one up?
I'd be interested to know, Jim, where you think is there a next Amazon, or where does Amazon go from where we are?
Yeah, good question. Going back to that conversation I had with the senior VP back when I met him at Amazon, and I didn't tell him this, but I think this is a key factor, and I'm excited to see Amazon doing what it's doing in regards to allowing buyers and sellers to begin to connect, for brands to begin to grow their audience. I think that was their Achilles heel. And to the degree that they begin to address that, this is the part I didn't tell him, but I'm like, that's where you're vulnerable. That's where Facebook could become Amazon if they want to, if they take down those barriers. But if Amazon allows buyers and sellers to connect, and this isn't a Jim idea, I try not to use, when it comes to guessing about the future, we all have this equal ineptitude. Some of us are going to be lucky, some of us are going to get it wrong. But when it comes to timeless principles, I'm applying those to the Amazon situation. And I know that in Hebrew, a transaction is the beginning of a lifelong, mutually beneficial relationship. That's what a transaction is. When done properly, that's all it is. It's the beginning of a mutually beneficial, lifelong relationship. So if Amazon comes in and says, nope, that relationship shall not be established, it certainly won't flourish, we're keeping you in separate pools, buyers over here, sellers over there, you're not allowed to talk to each other. That's not a good thing. To the degree that Amazon is beginning to allow that now, I see the very bright future for Amazon. This could be an entirely new revenue stream for them. And it begins to replace some of that social media burnout that we've all experienced, these meaningless relationships where we bicker about things that don't matter and post stuff that doesn't matter. I see that fading out. Not as fun or as cool as it was 10 years ago. Less people are interested in that now.
But if we can build it around things that we do care about, brands that we care about, people that we have things in common with, transactions associated with that. I see Amazon as having the ability to really, like, they're just getting started. So, and certainly the online shopping trends tell us that we're at what, 15, 16% of all retail is online right now, which shocks some people. That's US government numbers. Only 15, 16% of retail is online. 85% is traditional retail still. Those numbers are going to continue to head in the direction of more and more online transactions and shopping. And
I see.
the bar is going to continue to raise. Amazon is half of that in the US, half of the online activity. That's not going to change anytime soon. They are the gorilla in the room now, with plenty of fun competitors nipping at their heels at any given time. Walmart's got some things in the work. Walmart has a large war chest to play with to try to take a dent too. eBay's always going to hang in there to the degree they don't do anything stupid, which they're traditionally have been known to do, spending billions of dollars for Skype, stuff like that. Why did you do that? You don't even let us use it on the eBay platform. What are you doing? But e-commerce, that skill set of being able to bring a product to market by testing small, then growing an audience and selling on the platforms where the action is, getting on the Pinterest, for example, always experimenting for you guys. It's a very bright future. This is an untapped Wild West arena still. It's only about 20 years old. And most of us, myself included, I put myself in this category. We're clueless. Just so many opportunities coming at you so fast.
Right.
As long as you're willing to keep learning and keep testing small, man, the future's super bright. I don't think we even have the ability to kind of calculate the paradigm shift that's been slowly happening and then the doors that are going to continue to open. And it's not just because I try to be optimistic in saying that. I think any honest look at the numbers and the data and the facts on the table point you in this direction. Like, this is one of the most valuable skill sets you can give your kids, is to be comfortable with e-commerce.
Right.
And then not get sucked into one of those little side rail traps of becoming addicted to video games or just watching TikTok all day. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about truly bringing value using the internet creatively while remaining disciplined in your approach to it. And I could talk probably for an hour on that subject. You can tell I spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Yeah.
But a very bright future. No question. I don't see anyone knocking Amazon off anytime soon, though. They've built quite a war chest for themselves in terms of just sheer dollar volume they've got at their disposal to test and experiment it. And the way they're trending right now towards letting buyers and sellers connect, I think that's bigger. Get back with me 10 years from now and see if I wasn't right on that one.
I'm excited by your comments on that because I think that is a missing factor. I would love to be able to communicate more with my buyers.
Wouldn't that just be so exciting? And that's the point I tried to emphasize to this VP was sellers are willing and ready and eager to pay for the opportunity to interact with on your platform their buyers in many cases, right? Not necessarily the random resellers that are selling 1,000 different items, but the niche specialists. That makes your brand so much more valuable.
Oh, yes. You put so much time and effort into we don't take it for granted. We spend a lot of time choosing the vendor and making sure it's the right quality and making sure it's packaged correctly. We have a special gift box and it goes on. And to be able to relate that more personally would be amazing.
Yeah. And you're just not able to do it with Amazon's participation or cooperation quite yet. You can do it on your own website. But that's not the same. It's not as convenient. You don't have the plan now, right? You don't have people stumbling across your listings. But imagine those two worlds beginning to merge. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I mean, it could 5 or 10x the value of your brand in a very short period of time. And I'm sure you'd be willing to share a part of that with Amazon if they turned on the faucet, right?
Absolutely.
Imagine millions of brands with that kind of mentality. If you start to really shift the way business is done, if Amazon wakes up to that factor. And there's enough people talking about it now that I think that's coming. I think it's inevitable.
It's good to hear.
Yeah. Right. It's going to be fun.
I got to say, we could never do what we're doing on our own without Amazon because they indeed ship everything out for us. They take the returns back. They bring the returns back to us. And they're so efficient and they really have it together. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to
it's incredible. It's a number-driven logistics company and they want to sell anything and everything. And They've come as close as anyone ever has to pulling it off.
Oh, yes.
I'm very bullish about their future. Absolutely bullish about the future. Customers are there. They're buying online more than ever. And we're about to have another record-setting Q4. I wouldn't mind asking you guys a question, because I don't know how many people come up to you and say things like, how do I get started? I love what you've done. But talk to those folks, just give them encouragement, because that's a lot of people who listen to this podcast are people who are kind of kicking it around. And one of the visions I have for this show is that it encourages people to make that leap without being intimidated. You're not going to be where Rick and Rosemarie are tomorrow or even next month. It's taken them 8-10 years of making mistakes and trial and error and learning and constant changes. You've built an amazing business now, but what might you say to someone who's new, who's considering getting into all of this? Just give them some instruction and help. They hear it from me all the time. What might you guys say to that portion of the audience?
I think, first of all, it's definitely possible. And if we didn't absolutely believe that, I wouldn't have started Bowhead Nutrition. That hasn't even been on Amazon for a month yet. Mm-hmm. And while she's sending in thousands and thousands of necklaces a day or whatever jewelry, I'm really happy. We just got approved for Fulfilled by Amazon. So we've been doing Fulfilled by Merchant for the last 3 weeks. I'm happy we get an order today. We got one. Right. But the reason is I know where this can go if you do it right. And this is not a commercial for Jim Cockrum, and I know it's an investment because it's one that I resisted for a while. But I would tell you, investing in the coaching program there's just so much to learn. You'll learn it quickly. However, if that's out of reach right now, I think all the learning materials are on your site. It used to be My Silent Team, and I'm
Proven Amazon course is where we've got it all now.
Proven Amazon course. I mean, the information's there. And if the funds don't enable you to get a coach at this point in time, I really think if you take the time to learn, and of course we have YouTube and all those things. I'm learning how to use Frankenstein on helium. Okay. And that's videos, but it's very possible to do it on a very, very low budget. And then the other option is the whole replens, which is extremely low budget. And there are plenty of videos for that. And you can kind of spend what you're able to spend in order to start. I think the only way to guarantee you'll fail at Amazon is if you never start. If you start and if you put in the work, there's a great likelihood that it'll return something or a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the other big mistake you can make besides quitting is to spend a whole bunch of money on something that you shouldn't have spent a whole bunch of money on. That's what we teach. Test small. Keep learning and keep testing super, super small. And that's, like you identified, Rick, is the beauty of the replens model is for a few dollars. And that's one of the things that had you skeptical is how inexpensive our stuff was. And
yes,
we fight that every day. Like, we know that we could 10x our prices on everything and that it would be justified for the value delivered. Yeah. But I don't want to take it out of reach of the people that have come to us and said, I spent my last $30 buying a course from you guys. Had it been $500, I would not have been able to do it. And it changed my life. Like those stories compel me to keep the price low and to keep explaining why the price is so low. I don't want to yank people like me underneath anybody who's in a rough spot.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we might use that clip as marketing material. I think you did a good job, buddy.